had a busy week. Lots and lots and lots of coming lucid, just all over the place. You know, a lot of what happened really helped me see how easy it can be for some to go into psychosis over some of this. Because I was led to see things well beyond, what I've been experiencing to date. I see such a small percentage of what happens in there. My curiosity has been growing. I need some things answered, and they were, this week, sufficiently enough for now to give me something to absorb over the next week. So I'm just going to shoot out to you some of the things that have happened, and just the way I'm piecing it together in messages and in ways that I very clearly am meant to apply to the daytime reality. There's a shift happening here. It's less and less physical. We think it's the same old 3D reality that we were in, but for me very clearly it's not. There is a shift happening. Things are becoming less dense, less physical. More of what happens in my projections seems so easily it could happen in my daytime reality at any second. I begin to experience many different types of shifts. But let's see, just starting at the get-go, there were a couple really fun things. So I have never, in any of my projections, had someone witness me show up until a couple days ago. This was really fun for me. I had materialized in a sort of medieval great room, low class, just a small wooden room with lots of wooden tables, clearly a place where people come to eat. Nobody here was eating, and the room was full. It was full of all modern day people, modernly dressed, and the guy sitting in the table in front of me, as I materialized, was looking right into the space in which I was materializing, and his eyes, his face got really big. Very clearly, he had witnessed me arrive, or witnessed me come lucid. However, I don't know. I would love to know what he saw, because I didn't look down at myself, but it had captured my attention so much I just wanted to lean in his direction and say, "Are you awake?" Just love it when I find people who are awake in there. It doesn't happen very often, or hasn't happened with me very often yet. But I couldn't get through. The more I leaned in and asked, the more I could tell he wasn't hearing, and then I sort of saw him fall back way into dream and start engaging in odd activities just like the rest of the people in the room were. Oh, here's a good one. I materialized, or came lucid, in the back seat of a truck. There's two guys sitting in the front, and without going into a lot of the interaction, the most important thing to mention here in this one was that the three of us were sharing a single oxygen mask. For what reason, I at this time didn't realize, but I was letting them use the oxygen mask. I didn't feel I needed it. And at a certain point, a spirit message came through, just handwriting in midair right in front of my face in this deep, deep, deep blood red color. Just one line. It simply said, "Wake up now or you're going to die." I remember there in the projection just reading it and really not taking it in any particular way, until all of a sudden I did take it in a particular way. And I fell through multiple layers of false awakenings very rapidly until I arrived back in my room. In my room, the K energies are mass swarming my head. So much so that I can't even feel my head. My head is numb. And clearly, I'm in kumbhaka, breath cessation. I hadn't been breathing. And this is somewhat normal and natural for me. I have gone into kumbhaka before, even consciously gone into kumbhaka before, but never in a projection have I gotten a message like that. I didn't have to take it in the sense that I ended up taking it. But, who knows about these things? What else? The house. Okay. I come lucid walking down a residential street. Y'all might be familiar with this one. That seems to be a situation in which I come lucid quite often. And I'm in the yard of a corner house. There's grass, there's trees, just standard everyday looking neighborhood. And the garage door is open. There's a couple men in the garage, sort of mechanic-like guys in there tinkering around with cars, fixing something. And I'm sort of walking by the garage at this point, and I think for a minute maybe I'll go talk to them, but then instead it felt like I might know the people at this house, like the address of this house might be important, that I don't know, maybe somebody that I know or that watches these videos, that I've never actually seen but sort of virtually know might live here. And so I wanted to get the address. I go over to, where the numbers should be, and my lucidity is just not high enough. The numbers are morphing. I don't give up immediately. I levitate up there and really come in super close. I'm seriously trying to get the numbers on this house, but I can't do it. So I decide instead I'm going to go to the corner and at least get the street names there on the intersection. As I'm heading over in that way, I dematerialize. Damn it. And then I materialize at the house again, but this time inside the house. Inside the house, it looks sort of like an indoor swap meet. And I have various interactions with people and things happening. But I guess the important part for me to mention would be that I'm shifting in and out of this place. I just keep dematerializing and materializing in a different place in the house or the swamp meet or with another person. But I know that it's the same location, and this is happening very rapidly. Like I'm there for 60 seconds and I dematerialize, and then I materialize back, in a slightly different place, and something else is going on. And after this happened, I don't know how many times, 6, 7, 8, 12 times, who knows, something in this ballpark, I realize I'm starting to get bored. And that's never happened in a projection before ever. I mean, because it's just so amazing that the thing is happening that the details aren't really so important, but I start to feel like I'm getting bored, like I'm running out of things to do. And I find myself just right there in that moment wondering, how do people live here? What is the motivating force behind what people do in the astral? And I didn't really get an answer at that point, but later when I woke up, that question was still very deeply on my mind, and I'm not really getting any immediate answers. Nothing's coming to my mind. So I just sort of ask myself, well, what is the motivating force behind what people do in the physical? This answer I did get immediately. I felt that the motivating force behind what we do in the physical is survival. We do things for survival reasons. I know that the majority of what I do has to do with my survival here. When I get up in the morning, generally I'm getting up to go to work, make some money so I can have a roof over my head, clothes on my back, food in my mouth, things like that. Even the other things that we do here, sleep, we do that so we can survive. We wouldn't survive without sleep. We wouldn't survive without sex. The race would not, replenish itself, etc., etc. So things here, are basically fueled by the energy or idea of survival. And when I started to see this, an idea started coming through that, in the astral, you wouldn't die. You don't have a physical body the way we have a physical body here. So if survival wasn't the motivation behind doing anything, it would have to be service. It would have to be service. I mean, what other meaning could there be to anything, really? And, this idea isn't like a service to others or service to self thing. It's not. That whole idea I could go on about a little bit as well. It's just, there being some meaning and you being where you happen to be. Surely when we find ourselves in a particular location, we're there for some meaning, to do something. Anyway, I haven't worked it all the way through in my mind. This is really live on the spot kind of thing, like all my videos are. But I've just sort of started taking that on, in my daytime reality and in the astral reality. So when I find myself coming lucid in the astral or soul plane or wherever I happen to be, just remembering to immediately upon coming lucid, ask myself, of what service can I be here? Why am I here? What am I here to do? I've never really done that before. Things just sort of start happening in a snowball type fashion. And then in the daytime, I do this as well. When I do this in the daytime, when I don't let it be about survival, I don't get up out of bed because I got to get to work because I have to make some money to put, food on the table, anything like that. I don't let that be my motivating force. I just say, of what service can I be here? I have arrived here for what purpose? What am I supposed to do right now? What am I meant to do? And I just start to feel something, and just having that energy behind me getting up out of the bed or, going into whatever activity I'm about to go into is making, such a delightful difference. And this very much has to do with the shift taking place on this planet. These things are part of the shift. This shift in mentality from a survival mentality to a service mentality is a very practical and purposeful part of the shift. And I'm starting to feel that purposefulness, and boy, does it just really light me up. Okay, one more thing. I hope I have time. I can't see the numbers on the clock, but the most fascinating thing, the thing that really has me intrigued and has the majority of my attention right now, is something that started happening a couple weeks ago when I've had the simultaneous experience in certain ways in the past. I think I've mentioned to you before that I simultaneously experience the astral, etheric, and physical realities at times. Now I am starting to experience, for instance, when I'm in an interaction with someone, both points of perspective. I'm experiencing it right now tangibly. And I'm sure that this will spread out. But for instance, if I happen to be standing there talking to someone and the person places their hand on my arm, I will feel their hand on my arm, but I will also feel it from their point of perspective. I feel that my hand is on someone's arm, for instance, both at the same time. It's the most spectacular experience. And I'm just, as always, very, very deeply curious about just the internal function, the movement within my own awareness that's allowing these types of experiences to take place. And on this one, what's coming to me is that what allows this is shifting out of the positive negative, the duality of a positive and or negative point of view, into a neutral point of view, and fully, meaning fully embodying neutrality. This thing is neither good nor bad, nor up or down, nor right or wrong, none of that. I like it, I don't like it, this one I prefer, none of that. Absolutely embodying absolute neutrality is what's allowing me to, when in non-physical realms, simultaneously experience tangibly 2 points of perspective in interaction with each other. Phenomenal. Are any of you experiencing this yet? Would love to hear your relays about what's happening and things that are coming to you about this. But again, what I see as part of the shift, moving out of the dual positive negative perspective or point of reference, into neutrality, into witness, into full witness. I still experience myself as myself when this happens. I just more fully understand what the person I'm interacting with is experiencing as well. There's more communication, deeper communication. Just riveting.